Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a lot of training clips of Crawford and Canelo. We're also going to be looking at probably 100 film study clips and talking about kind of how I think this fight is going to go. But first off, this video has took a lot of time, take a lot of effort. I don't even know how long this video is going to be. Go ahead and give it a like, thumbs up, all that stuff. Really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and start with a few little clips here with Crawford and Kavaliauskas. Now, Crawford loves to follow up. We're going to take a look at why, but here he is getting cracked by Kavaliauskas. Crawford said this was by and large his hardest fight. Okay, now in this sequence here, we've got Kavaliauskas getting to the line, and he's going to be checking the line with a rear hand that Crawford is parrying. Okay, Crawford likes to parry and he likes to interact with his opponent's punches. But in the open stance here, this particular thing is very, very, very difficult. Okay, this is Crawford's, I believe, biggest weakness to Canelo and the things that Canelo does well. I think this is his biggest weakness. Okay, as Crawford winds up getting smacked here by Kavaliauskas and hurt quite bad in this fight. But really, really, really cracks him, hurts him. Now, Canelo is not a combination puncher, so it's not like it's like the most, crazy important thing, but it is going to be very important that Canelo is able to get a lot of contact throwing that shot, threatening Crawford and keeping Crawford from actually throwing combinations, by being dangerous. However, we're going to talk about that. This is one of Crawford's biggest advantages against Canelo is he can be very quick on the line. He can touch the line with the lead hand, and he can fight off of this strategy very well. It's a strategy it's something that not a lot of fighters that fight Crawford are good at. This is like one of those things that's more because I don't want to say, oh, Crawford just because he's fast, whatever, whatever. He is fast, right? But also he can fight at this pace. He has games that he can play off the lead hand control. And this is just one of the ones after getting hurt by Kavaliauskas in the round before that he starts playing to put a lot of pressure. Just using the jab. Again, he can do it with the rear hand, but Crawford doesn't have to. He doesn't wind up. He doesn't have to charge up. And more importantly, after landing a shot, he doesn't fall off balance. Okay. This is what I think is Crawford's biggest strength against Canelo. And when we talk about the training footage and we talk about that stuff, we're going to be taking a look at that. Now, this clip here, this is the most important flaw of Canelo that I believe Crawford will take advantage of, that falls in line with one of the things that Crawford does the best, right? One of the things that Crawford's just naturally good at, and we're going to talk about that following up, right? But take a look at Canelo's back foot as he throws this jab. Take a look at how it swings out, okay? He's not always very sharp with this movement, and sometimes his foot is going to drag here. And because of that, it means that he's going to be easy to hit. So we're going to be taking very particular looks at those kinds of things as we go throughout the film study. But we're going to start again. Here he is dragging here, getting caught on the line. And this is just a random combination from who? John Ryder. Okay, Canelo gets a little bit stuck on the line, throwing his stepping jab here. Now, this is another problem that Canelo has. Again, almost all of his jabs are stepping jabs. Okay, boom, combination, boom, boom, boom. Now, when Canelo throws one of his punches, and again, we're going to take a look at that. Let me just go ahead and show you that clip right away. When Canelo's practicing his stepping jab, what does he practice after? Okay, well, since this is such an important, again, look at the back foot, dragging, sweeping that way while he's making an attack on the line. But there's not a lot of post-punch defense. He's not chaining anything off of this move. It's just one of those moves that he kind of just does randomly um, in the fight, right? And now, don't get me wrong. He does and have the ability to chain things off, and he will chain things off of it. However, most of the time when he explodes and attacks onto the line, he just stays there. He uses it to control a little bit of a space, try to score, but he's not really um, he's not expecting anything to come off of it. Okay. Now, this is the other move that's Canelo's best move against southpaws. It's a really, really good move. He's going to jump onto the line. He's going to break into this shot. Now, I want you to pay attention to this big, 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 huge opening right here. Okay, as he approaches the line, he comes onto the line. One of the most important weapons that a guy has, if you're the southpaw guy, is the right hook. So we're going to be taking special looks at whether or not Crawford uses the right hook when we get to the Crawford fight. Crawford versus Madrimov is the one that I chose. But he likes to throw this shot, this body shot here, boom. And now what does Canelo do when he does this? And he kind of stays there, right? Now, John Ryder here grabs and holds, and Canelo's able to shove him off. But he stays there, and that's like one of the most important things, okay? Now, he's going to take a big, huge step onto the line here. Boom, and throw this rear hand over the top. Now, I want you to take a very, very close look at Canelo's foot. Okay, he's not taking lead foot dominance. In fact, he's giving lead foot dominance away to his opponent, stepping inside of his line here to land this shot. All right, now, this is really important because, well, John Ryder is bigger than Canelo, right? Well, when we take a look at the box recs here, we've got Canelo, 5'7" with 70-inch reach. Okay, and if we take a look at John Ryder, 5'9", 72-inch reach, not that much, right? But look at Crawford, okay, 5'8", still taller than Canelo, 74-inch reach, okay? Much more reach than John Ryder, and he's still having to give away a position like this to do that. Now, we also got Israel Madrimov, 5'8 and a half, 68.5-inch reach. So Crawford, significant reach advantage in that fight. But again, these statistics are going to be the same in the Canelo and the Crawford fight. Crawford is going to have these advantages. So the fact that he has to give up lead foot dominance to land this big punch right here is very, very, very important. Okay. Now, what's he going to do right after? Give up lead foot dominance, take a step inside here, and throw that left hook to the body. Again, these are the most common sources of offense from Canelo, is that stepping jab, that taking a big step on the line with the right hand there, and then taking a step onto the line, exposing his guard. Again, he's not using an active guard on the outside. He's just exploding into these punches, which is going to make it more easy to see coming if, and we'll see when we get to the Crawford clips, if Crawford is very good at that stuff. Spoiler alert, yeah. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for a place to study these film studies, I'm doing a whole bunch of film studies on Patreon and on the Discord of Crawford. All the ones that they're the YouTube shorts, all those full fights are on Patreon and on Discord if you want to check them out. It's $10 a month on Patreon. If you get the Discord, it's $13 a month if you get a whole year. Otherwise, it's $20. But it also comes with coaching. Okay, there's over 100 drills already posted. There's Fouts Boxing Academy videos, which are the We Fight How We Train videos for the people who send in video to get better. There's also personal training. If you don't want to post your stuff, you can pay more so I can give your stuff personal attention. But it's a whole community of people using the Fouts Boxing theory. And now also, I'm the original film study artist. Okay, 99% of all the film study theory out there is mine, about controlling space, about crossing the line, transitioning your weight, changing positions, weight transitions, all of that stuff. I use to prove my theory, and then frauds like Boxing Jams and Mighty Mouse and all these guys that do film study. They all use my system. They all use my theory. The whole world does. Okay, so come check out the best film study artists on the planet, breaking down fights, talking about fights. Again, that's why you're here, right? But anyway, if you guys haven't seen my guy Eddie beating up this guy Quadir Albright, the first round is posted on my channel. If you guys want to check it out, my guy Eddie has one amateur fight. Quadir is a 13-fight pro with 12 knockouts, 12-1. Also, 6'1" versus 5'6", and my guy's he's outweighed, he's outgunned, and he schools him. Easy work. All right, getting back to the film study. So again, stepping jab, pendulums into the rear hand here to the body. Okay, but this is really interesting because when he shoots this shot, he's going to pendulum forward, and when he does this move, this is exactly what Spence was doing to Crawford when Crawford would time him and catch him with shots coming in. This timing is very, very, very common. Okay, it's very common, even though it's very athletic and you have to be very strong. And, most people without experience are not going to feel comfortable just breaking into a pendulum step in front of a guy. So Canelo uses a little bit of space, but it's a very, very common move. Okay, and Crawford is is not a common fighter. He's seen it very, very many times, but that's just a massive source of Canelo's overall offense. Now, a little bit of defense from Canelo. He gets onto the line and gets controlled by a rear hand, doesn't have a counter, allows his opponent to throw a whole combination at him, doesn't have any active guards, not moving his head. He doesn't have anything going on defensively that would suggest that if the right punch caught him, he wouldn't just fall behind and lose this sequence. I know he's not necessarily getting hit with anything, but that's not the point. It's also because when your opponent does that stuff, it takes up time in the round for you to be scoring. And if you're not allowed to score there, it's going to be very difficult if your opponent can maintain that type of pressure, which is one of the things we're going to take a look at when we take a look at Crawford. Now, again, getting on the line. Now, 90% of the time, he's going to double jab here. When he double jabs, bop, bop, and then he's going to throw a big roundhouse shot like this around the guard. Very, very, very seldomly will he throw a straight punch. I think, almost never. I think whenever he does the double jab timing, he'll throw a rounded punch, hook around the guard. And this is one of those things where we can clearly see his opponent trying to parry it. Crawford loves to parry the rear hand. Now, if Crawford doesn't pick up on the timing and recognize that the double jab is going to move into a rounded one and he tries to parry the rounded one, he'll get clocked. Now, I don't think that Canelo hits as hard as Kavaliauskas. I don't think Canelo is. I think that, man, it's tough with Madrimov, because that guy's like a natural 54-pounder. He's a little bit bigger and thicker. Canelo's very thick in the waist, but not in the arms, and he is, but pound for pound, Madrimov looks more natural, and I feel like he's probably pound for pound a better puncher, and neither one of them are like great punchers. Crawford is a very good puncher. He can throw combinations, which is something that neither of these guys can do. So I do think that even if Canelo gets Crawford, again, he has the shorter reach. He's a shorter fighter. That part's negligible because they're about the same. It's 1 inch. Who cares? But I do think he's going to have to hit him more than once to hurt Canelo or to hurt Crawford anyway. But this being a massive source of his offense, it's also important to note that when we get back to him, pendulum, jab, he takes the step here. Again, look at John Ryder controlling with the right arm. Now, this being a massive source of Canelo's offense, I think Crawford will be pretty decent at being able to time this with the right hook like he did against Jeff Horn quite a few times. And that might make it much more difficult for Canelo to be able to get the rounded shot off, the one that's actually a real danger to Crawford, because Crawford likes to parry the straight shots. So Crawford still may be able to prevent Canelo from getting a lot of value out of that shot simply by beating him on this beat here and countering him here and threatening Canelo's position. Even if he doesn't hit him here, he loves to throw that right hook. And throwing it may make Canelo more wary of making that particular combination or that particular sequence more common in his fight. Now, again, when he jumps on the line here, he gets up to the front here and he breaks down. Again, when he coils here, he's going to be triggering his opponent to do something, right? And his opponent tries to pull away. And again, Canelo gives up lead foot dominance. We can see his foot's on the inside. Neither one of his heels are on the ground. And then he gets kind of stuck here, like a little bit stuck in the mud. And John Ryder, not to be mean to him, but he's not an all-time great fighter. He's not like a real G when it comes to boxing. But he just ate that shot, and now Canelo needs to recover. And he's using that time to recover to hold. So he's recovering with Canelo. It's honestly like one of the most horrible and awful and terrible strategies I've ever seen. He just was working. Punch him back now. Rest later. He's resting now. Honestly, it's like just ridiculous. But that's why you have a coach. You have to have a guy on the outside to tell you, hey, that was really hard for Canelo to do. Punch him in the face. Now, again, 1-1-2. Look at Canelo's guard when he gets on the line here. Crazy bow and arrow. Okay. And very open. Throws the shot. And then again, look at him getting hit here after. lands a clean shot. He's getting hit. Again, I don't know how hard of a puncher Canelo really is. I know he hits the mitts really hard, but that's different than hitting a person. And no post punch defense. Again, we're going to talk about that when we get to his and the opportunity for an entire combination there. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the training videos as well. Jab, pendulums in, and gets controlled by a little bit of a right hand. There you go. And again, look at how effective that is at keeping him off the line. Now, Canelo has a little bit of a follow-up here. Okay, even though he got disrupted, he's not like a fish out of water. So Crawford will still need to be very wary. And again, that's the kind of thing about bringing us back to this sequence here. Not this one, silly goose. This one here where he follows him back. Boom, boom, boom. And Crawford can be susceptible to that. Okay, and again, we're going to talk about some of that stuff a little bit later. Boom, boom. Getting him in the corner. Again, throwing that same shot. Very, very common source of offense. A little bit of holding from Canelo too. Trying to tie up and not have to fight on the inside. But again, these are Canelo's most common sources of offense. Stepping jab. Again, we can see how slow and ugly that is. Getting stuck, lunging on the front foot there. 1-1, 2. And again, throwing the rounded punch off the 1-1-2 there. And again, still there for post-punch counters. Okay, now very interesting because again, straight punch this time, right? 1 jab, pendulum, 2. Okay, straight punch. Now, even though what he's doing is not great, right? When he kind of, I call this like falling off the line. Now he kind of goes straight back. He doesn't actually cross the line back to his normal position. So it's not the worst, right? And he's doing it quickly. It's not like the worst thing, even though he's not exactly doing something off the rear hand, right? Because again, we see when he throws the rounded punch, the hook, that he falls off balance and he's there for counters. But on the straight punch here, when he throws just the 1 pendulum 2, he can just walk straight off the line, even though his hands are not up and he's squared up. And it's not going to matter against Crawford. It's not going to matter because they're about the same size. So Canelo's not going to need any additional rules here. He's not going to need to train off of this. He'll still get away from it. He'll still need to be ready now to fight, right? And reset very quickly because Crawford will be chasing him. But the rear hand, again, very, 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 I think that's going to be a lot of value for him. Jab, 1-1. So again, rounded punch off the 1-1-2. Okay, and then falling off the line a little bit here too. But I do think that if the guy was a little bit quicker, John Ryder, again, he's not really looking to counter. He's just kind of falling off the counter himself. But again, Canelo looking more susceptible there. Now, we got a little bit of a longer clip here. Okay, and here we have a little bit of John Ryder using that lead hand control, right here, to block Canelo from coming forward. Now, the point of this clip here is to show that Canelo he's not actually that active. Okay, now breaking into this rear hand here. Again, if Crawford tries to parry this shot here, it's not going to be it's going to be a very difficult shot. I think Juan Manuel Marquez drops Manny Pacquiao with that same shot too. But Canelo fights are often very, very low contact, and you can see a little bit of John Ryder with the leashing here. I think that'll be very effective against Canelo because Canelo doesn't make a lot of attacks on the line, right? And again, controlling Canelo will be very easy. He's not always looking to counter. But when he does do something on the line, it usually winds up being, boom, boom, his crazy hardest, most violent shots, right? Maximum effort, gets countered, moves off the line, and then again, maximum effort, right? A little bit better. Still probably available to be hit off that. But like I was showing in that other clip here with Crawford, He can come forward, just be touching, boom, and steal punches, right? Be touching the line. He has good control, boom, and then make attacks on the line, and he's very, very relaxed. He's not always maximum effort, maximum, you know, and that idea plays directly into one of Canelo's biggest problems is that he gasses out, right? Because he's almost always maximum effort. Now, coming forward with this little jab here, and I just wanted to point out the hook here. Obviously, John Ryder, we know he's not like a real G, but being able to threaten that position, and we can see it being open there, just something that Canelo needs to be worried about coming straight forward with that kind of shot, especially because throwing a jab like this, if you're expecting it to land, it completely exposes you on the same side your opponent's going to be throwing the hook. You might just run straight into a power punch. And that's exactly what Kell Brook did in the 5th round with his fight against Crawford, right? And Crawford knocks him spark out. Controlling him a little bit as Canelo gets to the front foot, hitting him with a combination there. Easy to control. And again, breaking into this position here. Canelo gives up lead foot dominance. Again, if this is one of those ways that Canelo just gets on the line and he does all his work, he's going to be very susceptible, boom, to counters, boom. Okay. Now, again, after landing that shot, now the other most important factor about this, and this is extremely, extremely important for the development of this fight, I actually think that this is Canelo's best shot at winning the fight. Best shot by far. If he wins, I don't think that he could knock Crawford out with the right hand. I think Crawford's been hit with some big shots, and we're going to see some in the Madrimov clips when we get there. I think that Canelo will have to hurt him to the liver. Not get lucky, but I think that that's going to be where it's going to be. I think Crawford's been hit hard to the head a lot. I think that Canelo has a hard time landing clean shots to the head till late in the fight when guys get tired. Crawford's not going to tire, and I think that this is a massive, massive flaw for Crawford to be giving up lead foot dominance. And again, we're going to see that idea when we see the Crawford clips. But you see how he's on the inside of his line, and it's easy for him to hit him here. But I think that if Canelo is going to win, that he's going to do it by winning with that body shot. Again, breaking into that shot, and again, available to be countered every time by this guy, John Ryder. And he's not even that good at it, right? 1-1-2, breaks into the rounded punch, gets countered, can't get out of the position. It's not even that hard of a punch. And then again, countered again. And again, that is one of those things that I think that Crawford is so good at. Boom, boom, boom. Stealing a little bit of space. No counters there while Canelo is maybe resting. Stepping jab. Boom. Getting controlled. Getting spun around. And again, it's not like there's like a lot of great work going on here. Canelo penduluming in. Trying to get close. And then breaking into 1-2. Again, post-punch defense, not great. And then again, what are all the sources of offense in this entire clip, right? The same punches over and over again. Not a lot of variation, not a lot of post-punch defense. Canelo is very getting countered here, trying to follow up. Very weird that he would throw this too and then try to follow it up with an uppercut. Boom, boom, instead of throwing a left hand. But I talk about this in the film studies on Patreon that Canelo is not really like a 2-1-2 or a 2-3-2 guy or a 2-3 guy. He's not really that kind of fighter. He's a one punch at a time guy, so he kind of resets and tries to throw this uppercut, and he's just getting hit, because he always has to reset so hard after throwing a shot. Now, again, breaking into that liver shot, it's his favorite shot, right? And again, it's not like it's a great shot and all this stuff. Like if he hurts Crawford to the liver and Crawford can't counter, that's that's awesome. But if he doesn't, he's almost always open after throwing a shot for counters, you know? And even though he's a strong fighter, I think these are massive. Again, wide, wide, wide open off the 1-1-2. Again, landing a good shot, still getting countered. Boom, same shot. And now, interesting, right? Turning it upstairs, right? Very, very few times that he does this move. Usually because his opponents are already peeling and trying to get as far away as they can. So he's trying to change it up while he's got his opponent next to the ropes. But again, not the greatest defense leaving the line. And again, when we get to the Crawford clips, he's just much, much better at hiding his punches and following up as well. Now, getting on the line with the rear hand here, this is going to be one of those things that Canelo really, really needs to focus on so that he doesn't eat too many counters and he can find some opportunities to score without putting himself in very much danger. However, Crawford is such a competitor. You're just always in danger throwing punches at him. Again, all that stuff kind of encapsulates all of Canelo's offense. Eating a shot here to the not to the liver. Okay. Now again, this is one of the most important parts about this fight is that if Crawford fights Canelo southpaw, which I think he will, um, Crawford's liver is close. Canelo's liver is not. So that's almost a worthless body punch, just throwing that shot to score. Um, and then I want to point out Canelo immediately slipping to the inside of the jab and banging that liver. Right? Beautiful shot there from Canelo. Post punch defense, still available to counter, to be countered if he doesn't hurt the guy. And again, how often does Canelo hurt a guy with the punch? Now, again, touching the lead hand, bop, and then touches the lead hand, bop, and then follows up. This is one of those things that Crawford is extremely good at, but he can do it with either hand. And Crawford is, he's very good with his jab. Very, very sneaky, coming around the guard with the little hook there, stepping on the same timing. And again, same holes exposed, right? Big right hand. Now, again, I don't know if Crawford is going to be parrying these shots or if he's going to be pulling straight back. All right, we got some Crawford clips. Now, 1 minute into the first round, okay, and he's circling here. And take a look at Madrimov's going to be taking one step, and Crawford is going to pendulum step here, right? Understanding that he's about to get the ring cut off against him. This is something that Crawford is very, very, very good at. And this is going to be, again, one of the more important facets of the fight is that Crawford is, I want to say he's used to being the little guy in the ring. I guess. He has decent circling, decent mobility on the outside. And while most fighters can make it work, Machimov had a very difficult time this entire fight really getting on the line with Crawford. Crawford did a great job the whole fight. So he's going to use that stuff. And Crawford, again, is going to show some really good circling here, taking a step off the line here, penduluming. Now, when he gets feinted here by Madrimov, look at him get feinted, he's still ready. Okay, it's really important. Boom, that you can see that Crawford is kind of getting planted when he gets feinted immediately, trying to get his weight to the ground to interact with the next shot that's coming. Okay, I know that clip gets a little cut off, but now Crawford very, very, very good with his leash, controlling space there, not allowing his opponent to get close. And again, opening up with the hook. I think this is going to be a very, very big move. Crawford's looking to do it on the outside, even just from a control position, not even while his opponent's interacting, but even just as a control, which may make it more difficult to throw other punches at Crawford, make you feel less comfortable. Now, again, getting on the line, boom. Now, rear hand to the body here from Madrimov. Madrimov rolling his head off the line. does a much better job being sneaky and being quick with his punches to match Crawford's speed than Canelo, I think, is going to. Canelo is always slamming as hard as he can into his punches, rear hand. Now getting countered as he shifts forward. Again, Canelo oftentimes after throwing his rear hand explodes on the line and falls off balance toward the left. And again, Crawford catching Madrimov there with that clip. Now, these clips are going to be very interesting because Crawford spends most of the time in the first half of the fight, again, body shot. Canelo doesn't throw a lot of body shots, but I do think it's going to be one of those very important punches against Crawford that you're not attacking his head where he's trying to counter you or trying to bait you all the time, because Crawford is really good off of those baits. But sometimes Crawford will do silly shit and just let you get control of him and do some stuff on the line. Like, again, he's giving him just a 1-2 to cross the line, pendulums into the 2 here, even though it has to be very fast. Now, again, take a look at this movement here as Madrimov gets off the line. Canelo can do this, right? But it's going to be interesting because Canelo is usually so conservative. He's also usually throwing his hardest punches. And Crawford is much more relaxed and able to come back with punches than I think maybe anyone in boxing, parrying the rear hand here and then countering with a combination. Okay, this is very, very, very important because anytime those shots miss, or even if Crawford just pulls straight back and it goes whizzing by the front of his face, even if he doesn't parry it and it doesn't hit him, there's going to be time for Crawford to follow up and throw a combination. And this is one of those things that Crawford is so good at. This is why having any amount of time where you throw a punch against Crawford and you're dragging, like with your jab or with your rear hand, or you throw the left hook to the body, stealing a jab to the body. Just thought this was a very important move to include because Canelo will throw a decent amount of jabs to the body. However, he's taking lead foot dominance, and I think that that's also very, very, very important. That again, jab to the body. Again, if you're throwing punches at Crawford's head, I think he's really, really good at making you pay. I know that he drops Spence for going to his body, setting a little trap for him there. But I think that Crawford is expecting punches to come to his head. He's trying to bait them in the southpaw position. Now, landing a straight shot right through the guard-ish there against Crawford. And then right here, okay? Now, Crawford doesn't always have the best defense. He's not always looking to interact. He's not always doing the right thing. Sometimes he gets, lackadaisical, right? He's not interacting with his opponent like it's an opponent. And you can sneak up on him sometimes. It's not easy, and it's not common. But I think that if Canelo focuses more on the straight rights versus the rounded one, even though the rounded one looks like it's going to hurt him, even though I think that the way that he has to set it up is just so much more difficult. I think that punch is just so much safer to throw against Crawford, that he'll get away with it more often. Now, starting that sequence with the rear hand to the body right there, which is a very, very easy shot, I think, for Crawford to land. And then again, over the top, stealing a combination here. Now, again, Canelo will often just shell up, and Crawford has his ability to get into this position, boom, boom, and just steal a combination like this against, I don't want to say a slow and flat-footed fighter, but Canelo is very slow on his feet sometimes. He'll get stuck in the mud. He'll just sit there, and let guys throw punches. Now, Madrimov bounces onto the line. He's going to try to break right here, go boom, and then throw the rear hand. This shot's almost getting parried, but Crawford's also moving his head and throwing a right hook and crashing into him. Now, again, this is one of those timings where if you're throwing the double jab, bop, bop, and you try to cross the line with the right hand, he could hit you while you're doing your second jab, or he can hit you with the right hand with the right hook. He has multiple opportunities to easily catch you, so he doesn't really have a very dangerous timing here if you're using that technique against him. And here we can clearly see him doing it to Madrimov, and Madrimov's not playing. He's throwing that shot really quickly, right? And Crawford's catching him. So that clip right there, I think, is very, very, very important. Crawford get a little bit of leashing here. Now this clip kind of sucks, right? But Madrimov makes an attack on Crawford's line, and Crawford's countering him. Okay, it's very important. Again, the body shot kind of goes away eventually. It took a couple of rounds for Crawford to catch it, so Canelo would need to make something off of it. But if he's throwing this shot to the body, this is also very similar to him smashing in with that left hook to the body as well. So if he's not hurting him with that left hook to the body, then he may be getting countered here. Okay? Now, getting onto the line, boom, boom, boom. Throwing an entire combination here. All right? Again, Crawford is very, very good at letting his hands go and throwing those combinations. Now, following him back, he does catch him here, boom, right? But Crawford, again, very, very, very capable of continuing the sequence. This is one of those very unique things about him, where the sequences almost never really get too deep for him. Parrying this shot to the body now, and then countering, okay? He's not landing his counter, but again, parrying this shot and not allowing it to interact with him again. This is going to be one of those things where, again, he's utilizing his lead hand extremely well. If he just notices that he can just hit him with the hook instead of having the parry, he may go for a move like that. Now, again, as Madrimov is circling, he's got his left hand down. He's going to make a left hand attack, and Crawford picks it off immediately with his jab. Again, this is going to be one of those things where if Canelo is busting in with his 1-1-2, or he's busting in with the hook to the body, or he just busts in with the right hand, all of these moves are going to be susceptible to Crawford's counter, even if Crawford will obviously still be susceptible to be getting hit by with whatever comes. He still has the opportunity to move his head with that whatever punch he decides to throw with his lead hand. Now again, 1-1-2 timing, right? Boom, boom. Okay, if Madrimov is trying to come through, pop, and he's going to double jab and throw another shot, or say he throws a right hand, or he does anything that brings his weight closer to the line, Crawford's going to smack him. Okay, and Crawford is a right-handed fighter, so that's his lead hand, right? That's his lead hand. He's got his power hand forward. He's going to be catching you with good shots. Now, I don't know if this is going to be that important of a move in this fight. I'm not sure. But one thing that happens here is Madrimov makes a move, he feints, and now he does this little rhythm step here, and he kind of moves off the line. And now he's going to move back onto the line, and Crawford's going to time him here with this uppercut. Canelo, again, does put himself in his high guard, put his head down. So this might be one of those moves that's kind of effective against him. But I want to point out he throws a combination there as well. Again, Crawford is not a one punch at a time kind of guy. And all this stuff, right, while he's not going to be landing every combination, it all just serves to put him just a little bit farther ahead of his opponents each time that they have a sequence. Now, Madrimov's going to feint him here. He's going to feint him again. And he's going to go down, coil. And Crawford's going to pull on that coil and then follow him back with that shot. Again, combination here. But again, he's also ready for that timing. He's ready for that shot to come after the coil comes. He's ready if it's a stepping jab. He's ready, to interact, with his opponent if his opponent attacks him and jumps on his line. Again, feinting here. Now, smacking him right on his head. Okay, again, the rounded punches. Crawford is just, while he's good at countering and he's good at doing this, and when he does get the parry off, it looks really cool. His guard actually is not that great. It's important to have it up, and you can't just hit him with completely dumb shit. Like, this is not the hardest shot, but he does punch him right on his head. Boom, right through the guard here. Bink. Not the hardest shot, but at a high level. Does anybody want to get hit by Canelo's shot? But again, I don't think he's that aware of his guard. I don't think he uses his guard that well. he does have, again, when we take a look at these clips from Crawford, a good ability to circle. Again, combinations. And again, when his opponent is getting his weight back foot, this is one of those very common things from Majimov, feints, rhythm step, rhythm step. But Canelo will do stuff like this too. And then when he moves onto the line, Crawford is looking to time him, boom, boom, and attack him when he gets on the line, even though he pushed himself off of his line. Right? So a little bit of a trap there from Crawford. Pretty good, pretty sneaky. And it's a place where he can control space and also get some free offense. Right through the guard. Again, he's not always the best at defending shots. He's got to say no, but we saw him get cracked pretty cleanly right there from the rear hand. Now another one, he even tried to parry this one, and it gets him really good. Okay, again, I really think that it's a mistake from Canelo. Now, back foot from Majimov. Majimov takes a step on the front foot. Bam, smashes him with the uppercut. Again, this move might wind up being very effective against Canelo. Who knows? We'll have to see. Combination when he gets on the front foot. Again, Crawford is pretty good at controlling space when he gets to go first, right? But again, just getting hit cleanly, straight through the guard, right? Again, when he's not getting the thing or this or that. Now, in the very next clip, he gets on the line with him and he times him and he goes first, crashes him with the rear hand. He got him. Again, just look at how crazy fast he is, man. And again, he times everything perfectly. He's about to take a step on the front foot. Crawford pendulum steps and shoots into this shot here. Boom, boom. Before Majimov can get his front foot to the ground, he pendulum steps and then smashes into his straight left hand. Dude, this guy is crazy good at fighting. Crazy good. But again, his guard, not that good. Crawford's, timing beats speed. That was timing and speed, obviously. But Crawford, he's not actually particularly good with his guard. Now, this is one of those things that Crawford is just probably the best in boxing. Throwing punches he knows are going to get countered, right? So throwing that jab right there, setting the trap off of it, getting the parry, boom, and then counter with another shot too. But trying with the uppercut again on the same timing, jab, pull, counter. Now again, setting that up, dragging Majimov into that shot. Again, I think that shot will be very, very, very effective against him. And again, right after, what do we see when he leaves the line? Terrible guard. Tries to parry that shot. Both his hands are down. He's available to be hit by either punch. Breaking into this uppercut, catching him again. Pull, and then again, counter. Beautiful work from Crawford. Mid-sequence, getting off the line just enough to counter that shot again. And again, getting to go first here, pulling off the line, getting hit, not getting clear of the line here. Boom. Little pendulum slip there from Majimov. And then again, cracking him right here again. Now, this is because this is one of those things, right? Boom, boom, rhythm step, right? Pendulum walk. He's getting on the line. Crawford looks to set that move up and time him when he circles off, right? We can see him trying to do the move here. Boom, control some space, peels off. A very, very common move from Crawford. He got him to attack. Now he's going to circle out, get back to the center, and then try to set a random trap, penduluming, and not getting caught. Again, Crawford has a lot of little tricks, a lot of little sneaky things, a lot of little games that he's playing. But Majimov here picking up on this one, and it's the same one that he caught him with before, where Crawford tried to pendulum into it, and then he caught him, But this is a little place where Crawford, again, likes to set his offense up. He likes to do that kind of stuff. He's not really, I want to say he's not really like boxing with you. He's like dragging you around the ring and, doing all that fun stuff. But he's not controlling you and feinting. He's not changing positions. Now, here's the little lead hook. Again, when Crawford's on and he knows that, he's ready to counter, man, it is basically the same damn counter every time. But he's on and he's ready. And when he's not, just like Canelo, he's just easy to hit. Silly stuff will catch you. And I don't think that move will be like the most common, the one to the head right there, but that clip right there makes me think that, yeah, he might have success jumping under Crawford's line with the body shot. But again, will Crawford be able to counter those shots? Jab gets him to go, and then counter, counter. Okay, again, this game here I think will be exceptionally effective against Crawford or against Canelo, because Canelo is like a one punch at a time fighter. No, gets on the line, he's circling, he's taking a step on the front foot, back foot, he's moving to the front foot. Canelo throws a stepping jab. I know that's not Canelo, but if he does, pull counter, boom, boom. Right? Could have come back with the combination. Again, I do think that Canelo will be controlling space with that stepping jab. 1-1-2. Kind of steals that one from Crawford. Again, for some reason, Crawford not always on with his defense, Now, here he is trying to jab, get the counter to come out, and then counter him with the right hook. He is getting kind of smacked by a right hand from Madrimov, a really good shot. Who knows if Crawford or Canelo will have good counters like that, though. I don't think so. Now, very important, pushes him off the line, timing him, getting to the front foot with a stepping jab, gets him. Rhythm steps off the line, times him again, and then off the line. Again, Canelo, I don't think that he's always the best at interacting with very, very off timing punches. I don't think that he's very blocky a lot of times in his movements. And Crawford has a really good ability with his jab to kind of throw it off of a really weird timing. Now, circles around, steps, throws the jab, bop, pull counter combination right here. Beautiful work from Crawford. And again, this can come out of nowhere, right? And he steals a big, huge combination. All because he was trying to control space with that jab right there. Now, that sequence right there, that clip, that may be one of the ways, more common ways that the fight kind of plays out. And here we see Crawford timing and working with Madrimov. As Madrimov tries to feint him, he takes a small step off. He's getting Madrimov's rhythm, right? Trying to time him coming in. And then Madrimov comes in, boom, comes in. And Crawford is trying to time him with that right hook right there. Again, this move, Crawford is so good with his right hand counters. I was really surprised, honestly, that Madrimov made it out of the fight. All-time great mistake. Crawford gets caught pivoting on the front foot. He just gets there, pivots, and makes a massive, massive open up amount of space here. Boom, pivots, massive amount. Thinks he has his hand up. Thinks it's a body shot as well. Even though his hand is still up, he gets hit clean around the guard. You can't do that move. You can't just do that in front of your opponent. Now, again, excellent timing on this jab. Again, Crawford timing Madrimov getting to the front foot. Boom. Breaking into this shot. Really, really nice. Getting off the line, parrying the rear shot, and then whack, smacking him again and getting a combination off. Again, Crawford's ability to go first, successfully counter or evade the second shot from his opponent, the counter, and then go third and fourth. That is just going to be such a difficult thing for Canelo to deal with because, again, if Canelo even gets an opportunity to make an attack, he's lunging. He's lunging and jumping into it. Now, he's going to pendulum off this hook here. Boom, jumps in, lands here. And when he lands, he's supposed to be throwing the rear hand, but Crawford is countering him with his own lead hand. Again, looking to time him and alienate him from following up. Whack on that shot. Again, this still may wind up getting Crawford hurt bad, because if he misses this timing and then Canelo goes now, because sometimes Canelo will he'll charge up his laser a lot, and maybe Crawford just goes a little bit too early and winds up getting hit because, again, Canelo has unconventional striking timings because he's not like a great striker. Parry, counter, and steals this shot. Now, again, very, very dangerous. But I want to point out, coil, right? Because he doesn't have it built in his rhythm, his pace, his movement. It's all like choppy. He tells on himself here when he explodes, and then Crawford's easily able to counter, misses, but then gets an excellent follow-up shot to the body here on Madrimov. But again, when we look at that clip real quick, we talked about it. It was the first thing that we talked about it off the rear hand. Canelo doesn't have post-punch defense. He's always falling off balance. Now, throws the shot, post-punch defense occurs, whoop, he starts moving his head, and Crawford's catching him anyway. Again, this is one of those things that Crawford does better than I think anyone in boxing. Following these shots up, beautiful, beautiful. We just looked at that one. Now again, excellent game that Crawford is good at. Amazing, amazing. It's a massive, massive source of his offense. Now again, picking him off with the jab right there. And just so unorthodox with the timing, with the rhythm of that shot. Now, jumps on the line with the 1 or the 3, the 2. And then Crawford comes down, throws a counter, and then another counter. Following up, pulling this shot again, and then counter, counter, counter. Again, a lot of punches coming from Crawford here. Now again, I think Crawford has the faster hands, the better combinations, the better strategy. And here's the crazy thing. Madrimov puts more pressure. Boom, stepping hook over the top of that jab into a follow-up shot. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful sequence. Boom, 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 boom. But when you take a look at Crawford's or Canelo's fights, he only averages about 38 punches per round, which is about 1 punch every 6 seconds. Okay? Now again, controlling him here with the lead hand and then turning it into a hook when he comes in, catching him with that hook. Again, I think that move, if Crawford can get it going against Canelo, will be very effective as well. Beautiful. Now again, look at him picking him off here. He gets to go first, pulls off the line for the counter, and then smacks him with a huge shot. Again, if Crawford can get this going, he's going to do a lot of really, really good work against Canelo. I think that move will be very, very effective against him. Again, excellent uppercut. And then again, good rear hand, very effective against Crawford. Now, Crawford coming forward, picking him off. Let's take a look at the timings, okay? All-time great mistakes. He's going to be trying to pivot on the front foot, but Crawford catches him before he even crosses the line, timing him perfectly here. Now he's going to pivot on the front foot, and Crawford's going to catch him again, right? He almost got away with it. Now he's going to pendulum step. He makes it to the front foot again, and again, Crawford's picking him off with a combination here. Boom, boom. This is some beautiful boxing. Cutting the ring off multiple times, taking advantage of multiple footwork problems, and letting go a combination. He beats him on every street here. It just shows just how crazy good Crawford really is, and perfectly, doesn't even miss a punch, mostly. Maybe gets the parry, misses the parry, counter. Again, it's just such a massive, and then again, follow-up shot. It's such a massive portion of Crawford's offense, and the fact that Canelo doesn't have post-punch defense, when he gets lured into a counter, he's going to get busted up. And when he goes first, he's going to get busted up. Maybe missing that parry there, but... Now, back to a little bit of the Ryder film study, rear hand probe. Again, very important shot from Canelo. And then into a rounded shot, okay? Very interesting that he can do this. He can throw both of them. Not a lot of telegraph. Getting off the line as well, okay? Again, this is going to be one of his most important strategies, is just making sure that he's not there. 1, 2, catches him with a 1-2. Again, straight punches when he's only doing single shots, 1-2s, right? Pop, pop. But he does rounded ones when he does the other one. Kind of times him with the hook here. Okay, now this one's a very, very interesting sequence because he just dropped John Ryder, and I'm going to call Canelo out a little bit for this. He steps on his foot here, and he's going to step on his foot again and then throw a hook here. John Ryder really can't move his feet, so he's getting cracked right there. But John Ryder's hurt. John Ryder's hurt, and Canelo just landed the best punch that he could land, hit him in the head. He's stepping on his feet and everything. The guy is completely out of whack, and Canelo still somehow manages to get followed up on and countered. Okay, it's very, very, very important. Oops, let me check something real quick, guys. Okay. It's very important to understand that Canelo, even if he hurts a guy, even if he catches him with a good shot, he still has to move his head off the line. Now, here's Canelo coming forward, stepping jab, lunging, both feet are in the air, whack, countered. Okay? Now, against Mean Machine, Crawford was easily able to throw his jab out there, bait a counter jab where Mean Machine would stepping and lunge, and Mean Machine has a real hard jab. And Crawford would pick it off and counter him and smash him. And I think he's a better... I think Mean Machine, man, he got such a raw deal. Like, his management was just so bad. Like, unreal bad. Because Mean Machine would have beaten everyone else in the welterweight division but Crawford. Crawford versus Mean Machine was the top fight in the welterweight division. And nobody cared. Nobody cared because everyone thought Errol Spence was so good. Oh, man. Blanket over your eyes, guys. Come on. But he throws that shot. Boom. And then it easily winds up getting countered here. Okay? And then a combination. Look at how much space there is to attack Canelo off of his own offense. Right? Breaking into this shot, again, he'll be very susceptible to the right hook. Throws this shot, he'll be very susceptible to other counters as well. No follow-ups. Leaping shot. Boom, boom. Okay, again, no counters from Canelo. Breaks into his rear hand. No counters, no post-punch defense. 1-1-2. Again, those are just... the most common sources of offense from Canelo. Stepping jab, and again, falling off balance. If he gets baited into throwing that shot in front of Crawford, and again, he can't just not throw it probably. 1-1-2. Easily interacted with. Look at him falling off balance. Again, Crawford may be able to throw combinations, right? Look at all that time he's just sitting there on the line with him, allowing him to follow up, allowing him to throw punches at him. Beautiful rear hand, just walking right into it. Again, that's probably his most important tool against Crawford if the fight even happens. After this film study comes out, there's no way that Canelo accepts the fight with Crawford. No way. Shoving him on the line. Rear hand. Gets countered anyway. Falling just a little bit off balance. Lunging forward just a tiny bit. All right, we're approaching the end of the clips. Hopefully I cut it off before we get to my OnlyFans submissions. So coming forward, and now this is at the end of the round here. I just wanted to point out, again, Canelo doesn't throw a lot of punches. About 38 per round against John Ryder. Okay, about 38 per round. It means that he's not going to be very active. He's going to give a lot of space to Crawford for the leashing, right? He's going to give there's going to be a lot of time where there's just not a lot going on. And Canelo falls the most off balance. He has the most recovery after his punches. Crawford doesn't need that much. Now, I don't know. Pretty good one, too, by the way. Psh, psh. Gets blocked. No big deal. Man, what you guys want? Breaking into that shot, gets countered. Again, this being a clip that kind of highlights, this is one of the best things that can happen for Canelo. busts in, lands on the liver, everything goes perfectly, and then what? He gets punched in the face, punched in the face, punched in the face. You know, it's going to be a lot of work for Canelo. Breaks into this shot. Is he going to get countered? Would Crawford be able to counter him? Would Crawford get the timing of the 1-2? Right? We know he tries to do the parry. Now, I thought this was also an interesting clip because, again, when he whips into that rear hand, he's always like charging his laser. And when I talked about Crawford maybe throwing his hook or something too early because the timing is weird, you can kind of see that he gets kind of shoved and walked into, and John Ryder is able to completely stifle that 1-1-2 that he was about to throw on accident. Boom, boom. He's trying to jump into it, but the timing of his shot is always a little bit weird. It's not because he needs space or this, but he's trying to get planted, but he doesn't coordinate his jabs and everything with his footwork, so it's not on time. Okay, now again, can Canelo, a guy who just throws one punch every 6 seconds, afford to let a guy throw a combination like that and tie him up? Throw a combination like that and then leash him and walk him around the ring and not interact with him? Because if he doesn't stay on the line, if Crawford can leash and control and take a step back and take a step back and take a step back and take a step back, and then Canelo has to sell out to throw punches at him, really good rear hand right there, knocks him a little bit silly. Now again, he just landed 2 really good shots, landed another good shot, and then he's getting hit clean here, for no reason, other than he just doesn't have good post-punch defense. He didn't even have to try. But there's a lot of space in this fight for Crawford to mess around, for Crawford to do a lot of silly stuff in front of Canelo. And I think the only way that Canelo can really hurt Crawford, again, is with the left hook to the body. I don't think his rear hand is good enough. He's landing it here cleanly over and over again against John Ryder. Again, John Ryder a little bit bigger than him. Again, that's all of Canelo's offense right there. Look at him throw this rear hand here and then stand there. Boom. Look at him throw this left hook to the body. Breaking into it. Boom. Again, Canelo doesn't have that many tricks. Falls off balance a lot. Tires out a lot. And it's not that hard to control him. It's not that hard to land cleanly against him. He gets a lot of credit for having good head movement and all this stuff. But if this clip was the clip, if Crawford is just circling and moving around, and then Canelo tries to get to the front foot and he just goes da 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 da, and then Canelo's like and he hits him on the way out like he does sometimes, and then he throws this shot, very predictable. Crawford can counter it much better than John Ryder can. All right, how many more clips we got? All right, last clip, and we're going to turn on some training footage and talk a little bit about that. There to be countered a little bit, and then again, it's just the same offense over and over and over again. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the Canelo training footage first. Okay, from Pro-Am Boxing. It's mostly random. I just picked a random video. I haven't seen it yet. But we're going to talk about some of the problems that Canelo has. Number one, he practices a lot of striking. A lot, right? He's one of the better strikers in boxing, which is great, right? But he doesn't actually practice a lot of boxing, right? This is a striking drill, right? Is he practicing moving his feet? Does he practice circling, stepping around his opponent? No, he's just playing mitts. Now here he is on the Cobra bag. Is he boxing it? Is he circling? Is he stepping around? Is he practicing catching or blocking? Or nope. He's practicing his striking. There's no blend to it. Right? And this is a massive problem if you're a fighter, because oftentimes, I'm reminded about this fight that my coach showed me. And it's a crazy fight because the guy he picks is like fighting a guy who's 5'8", and he's like 6'1" or 6'2", but again, more striking from Canelo. But his name was Kevin Cagle, and he was fighting Yuri Foreman. And my coach was like, "This is what I want you to do." And he wants me to be Yuri Foreman, right? It's like my second week fighting right-handed. My coach just makes me fight right-handed. He won't let me fight southpaw. I'm a left-handed guy, and Kevin Cagle can't get planted in front of Yuri Foreman. He can't set any of his shots up. He can't get on the line, and this is why Canelo falls off balance when he throws all his punches, because he does them all in striking patterns. He doesn't add them to his boxing. He doesn't go back to his boxing or circling or moving around. Everything he does, he's just sitting literally in front of his opponent. Right? In theory. Now, not very many people sit on the line with him while he's busting them up like this, but he's not practicing very many boxing moves. He's not practicing any of his footwork. He's not practicing any of his stepping around, right? There's just nothing really going on here other than him practicing his hardest punch over and over and over again, which you're supposed to do. Again, more striking on the mitts, more striking on the aqua bag here. Striking. Okay, a little bit of head movement here. Just a little bit, though, but not really, because this is basically just striking here, right? Here he is, boom, striking, pulls off the line, striking, right? He's not boxing, he's not circling, he's not, right? He's just getting into the same position over and over again. You know, a lot of this stuff that he's working on, right? It's fine. But again, there's not a lot of footwork. There's not a lot of moving and circling and stepping around. A little bit here. Here we go. Okay. How often do you do this move in front of somebody? That move, right? So he throws this combination, boom, 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 and he's going to pivot on the front foot. We saw Crawford get smacked when he did this. My favorite fighter, Zab Judah, he would do this his whole career. He trained with Pernell Whitaker, and Pernell Whitaker would show him this move, and he would try to pivot in front of people. And Zab Judah's a fucking dangerous dude. He's dangerous, man. And he would just shell up while he's doing this, and guys would get close to him and hit him. He could be busting them up while they get close to him, but he's trying to pivot and be all flashy, and it's just a fake move. If you practice fake moves in your training, you're going to do fake moves in your fights too. But I was actually talking about this move here, right? Nah, right? Come on. Again, more striking. And again, this is what we're famous for seeing Canelo doing, striking under the water. It's silly. Little dragon flag right here. Not bad. Some weightlifting. Very important to be strong. Everyone has different theories. No, I want to say one punch at a time. He was doing the little shoe shining and stuff. But mostly one punch at a time, right? Even that is like one punch at a time. Oh, yeah, he only has one glove on. Okay. Head movement without his hands. Who fights like that? I guess this is technically kind of fighting like circling and stepping around, but not really. A little speed bag work. No sound on the speed bag there. Mayweather mitts, but he's practicing hard. A little bit slow, I think, there for Crawford. One punch at a time here. Man, this uppercut, dude. You throw this shot here. He has no guard on the left side, right? He's throwing that shot. He's not crossing the line. Like, this is just, what are you throwing this punch for? This doesn't make any sense, you know? Very interesting because you look at his head is like stuck up in the middle of the line. Looks terrible. Again, he's not really boxing or circling anybody or practicing any of his footwork. A little bit right there. Terrible pivot on the front foot still. Such a huge fan of that move right there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the Crawford stuff. All right. And immediately you can see him throwing a combination. Again, he's got fast hands. Now, he's hitting the bag and then stepping around and circling a little bit, right? I don't think all of his circling patterns are very good here, but he's working the bag, he's stepping around it, he's moving it, a little bit of rolling under it there. A lot of combinations, a lot of contact with the bag, a lot of punches, right? Little all-time great fake move here, controls here, and then throws the shot. Don't do that, guys. It's really dumb. Little catch and counter right there, where he touches the mitt, bop, and then throws a combination, right? What does he do when he gets on the line with these guys and he throws a counter? He's countering with combinations, right? Some combinations here, stepping around a little bit. Now, I want to point out that even while he's on the mitts with his coach right there, he's still circling and moving around, stepping around his opponent. See him moving around and stepping around here, practicing his footwork, right? He's not just sitting in one place, practicing his striking, right? But he's circling an opponent, doing some moves. Little couple of random stuff here too. Pull. Mostly combinations. Little blocks there. Here. Block. Block. While he's pivoting. Remember when he got cracked by Israel Majamov? This is the pivot that he just did, right? We see him practicing it. We see that it didn't work in the fight. We see that. It's clear, right? We see him practicing it. We see him get it punched in the face really hard, right? Doesn't work. Don't do that. Some combinations, big gloves too. Look at those huge ass gloves. A lot of combinations. And again, stepping around and circling around the bag, right? Still a lot of pivots on the front foot. Still a lot of other random bad habits too, right? Oh, goodness. Oh, God. Pivot on the front foot. Rhythm step, rhythm step. Oh. L step. Whoa. Come on, Crawford. I thought you was better than this. Oh. Combinations, stepping around, circling, not just standing right in front of his coach, right? Stepping jabs while he's moving around. And again, combination, blending, right? His movement and his mitts, right? And his striking, right? Not just being I don't know, say even a one-trick pony, right? But, practicing more than one little facet of boxing. And just crazy fast hands. But, we can see a lot of the things that they do in their training, it's just visible in the fight. We fight how we train, right? Now, again, when we take a look at Crawford here, southpaw, we can see that his hands are not in great position. They're in the same positions they would be in when he was fighting. Little shadow boxing, still stepping around a little bit. Combinations. Ugly ass pivots right there. All right. Okay. A little rowing. A little snowing. Little footwork. Box jumps, but with no box. I like it. Random footwork stuff there. Some sleds. Back to the bag work. So my overall idea about the fight, again, if you guys stayed this long, give the goddamn video a like. Come on now. But I really think that Canelo might be in trouble here. I know that people think he's the bigger guy and he's the power puncher and all that stuff, but he's a one punch pony. He throws only one shot at a time usually, and Crawford is very good at following up. Now, I don't know if he can hurt Canelo when he couldn't hurt Majimov, or couldn't recognize when he hurt Majimov. If he hurt him, I don't know. But if Canelo can keep control of the fight with the rear hand, the straight rear hand, he can keep Crawford from scoring a lot. However, because I do think that eventually he'll get the parry off on that shot, and then at that point it might be time for Canelo to try to throw the rounded punch. But I think that there's a real danger for Crawford, or for Canelo, to be getting hit by the follow-up shots of any of his other punches. And it's going to be interesting to see if Canelo can find any holes in which he can compete with Crawford and outpoint him, because the stepping jab from Crawford from the right hand is so good. He's so fast with it. He can find it at many different angles. Now, if Canelo can get around it and get a free body shot, like he can time it with his left hook, then there's a massive opportunity there for him. And we all know that the left hook to the body, you can hurt anybody, right? Oscar De La Hoya, on his way to having one of the greatest careers ever, moving up to middleweight to fight Bernard Hopkins, outpointing him, gets hit with a liver shot, goes down, and loses the fight. What the hell? Changes history forever. I'm not sure if he was winning the fight. I'm pretty sure Oscar was winning the fight. I mean, you guys don't even know. Oscar couldn't lose a gift decision. But there's a world, I think, that where Canelo can hurt Crawford. Crawford sometimes gets easy to hit. Sometimes he'll be predictable with the games that he plays, because he's mostly karate fighting on the outside with his leash rather than using head movement. Even though he can open up with the rear hand and hit you, and he can open up with the lead hand and hit you, oftentimes he'll still stay in the same side of the line and try to evade power shots the same way. So, but what I think is going to happen, I think that Crawford is going to be able to take Canelo's punches. Most people can, I think that Caleb Plant was fine. No, he was done, huh? Charlo didn't go out. Golovkin. But I think that Crawford hits hard enough that he's also going to get some good respect from Canelo as well. But there's just so many follow-up shots from Crawford. He throws so many extra shots. He throws so many combinations that it might be hard for Canelo, who's usually pretty conservative, to keep up with all the extra scoring, unless he's hurting and stunning Crawford. Then again, when Majimov catches Crawford with the rear hand, there's no counter, right? So, obviously landing that shot. I think throwing the body shot will also be very important for Canelo, throwing the straight body shot, not allowing Crawford to just time the one upstairs. So maybe that's the real strategy and the real plan there, is
straight shots to the body and to the head, so Canelo can mix it up enough um, that Crawford has a hard time countering, because the countering is the biggest source of offense from Crawford. It's not even his own punching. It's not even his own work that will get it done. It's the countering, you know. So um, again, all of Canelo's punches seem very easy to counter, simply because he's always max effort. Like here we have Crawford moving around, and none of this is max effort. It's all very light, very easy work. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are looking for a coach, you're looking for someone to scrutinize your work like I scrutinize these guys, and you want to get better, check out the Fouts Boxing Academy. If you guys want to learn it all on your own, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. And if you just want to learn striking, check out my new striking program. There's no reviews yet, but there's supposed to be some coming in. It's incredible, and it has subtitles.